Do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us revenge is a dish that is best served cold?
At the end of The Curse of Frankenstein, it was left intriguingly ambiguous as to whether the events shown in that movie really transpired, or if Victor had gone insane. With The Revenge of Frankenstein, that uncertainty is presumably thrown out the window. Opening with the titular character's execution, Frankenstein is saved from the guillotine by a hunchback named Carl, who is promised a new body in exchange for the rescue. Relocating to a new city, the former Baron is now going by Dr. Stein, because no one's going to pick up on that, forming a successful reputation as a medical doctor. After refusing to join the local medical council, Frankenstein is discovered by one of its members, Dr. Hans Klev. Hungry for greater knowledge, Hans blackmails the doctor in order to be accepted as his apprentice. Amused by this, Frankenstein agrees and soon grows to value Hans as his pupil. Meanwhile, Dr. Stein continues his work in creating the perfect human being. Anyone who expected this to be more of the same was obviously in for a few surprises. One of the more significant differences in narrative this time around is the fact that Frankenstein actually has to be more covert in his experiments. In the first film, he didn't have much in the way of restraint or limitations, as opposed to this one in which he is constantly working to maintain secrecy. Not only does it offer an interesting spin on the formula, but it also affords the opportunity to see the Doctor interact with a plethora of other characters. The ways in which he effortlessly toys with them, even the educated medical council, is endlessly entertaining. Peter Cushing gets to play with a more layered version of Frankenstein here, maintaining his usual charisma and sharp-witted intelligence while also harboring a seething anger underneath it all. One might wonder why the Baron doesn't exact vengeance on Paul, who had the biggest hand in sabotaging his plans. Well, the character here is written to have a broader agenda in mind, so it can be interpreted that Frankenstein's revenge might refer to him finally creating the perfect being. This would enable him to have the last laugh over the scientific community at large, which seems like it would be more appealing to him than merely going after one person. Mention should also be made of Francis Matthews as Hans. He does a good job of portraying a fairly educated man in his own right who possesses the same drive for knowledge as Frankenstein. Oscar Quitac and Michael Gwynn are especially compelling as Carl in his old and new body respectively, with both of them balancing the lack of confidence and the slow degradation that the character goes through. In contrast, Eunice Grayson shows a great deal of confidence as hospital assistant Margaret, displaying a likable energy in spite of not having much to do. Some narrative aspects can be picked apart as being illogical or impossible. For instance, how and why did Frankenstein craft a new body for him that looks exactly like his current one? Also, was there really any point to introducing the possibility of cannibalism once the brain is transferred to a new body? However, these do little to dampen the experience. There are a few more scenes than usual where the actors are silent, during which Terence Fisher's direction really shines. Not only does this enable them to utilize the intricately crafted sets and props, but it also facilitates the opportunity for facial and body language. This is all complemented by Leonard Salzito's musical score, which is appropriately tense and subtle. Overall, The Revenge of Frankenstein doesn't quite match the heights of its predecessor, but it takes the central character to new and interesting places, coming equipped with typically confident direction, a tense atmosphere, involving performances, and an engrossing script that nicely follows up on the original.